What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over the new mythic weapons we got in Fortnite's Hot Bat Summer Update and let you guys know if I think these are worth going for. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, comment down below which of these mythic weapons is your favorite, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is Evolved Jake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So, probably most people's favorite is going to be Poison Ivy's Mythic Ranger Pistol, and this can be obtained by dueling the Poison Ivy NPC, and she is at the Battle Bus health on the north edge of the map. You have to initiate a duel with these NPCs though. If you just eliminate them straight up, you will not get their mythic weapon, but when you duel them, you have a chance to, or you are guaranteed to get the mythic, and it is actually very easy to eliminate them. And the main benefit of this Mythic Ranger Pistol is going to be a faster fire rate when aimed in, which is absolutely crazy. The Ranger Pistol has been one of, if not the best weapons this season, so having a Mythic version that gives you a better fire rate when aimed in is very, very, very good. And typically what could maybe be a problem with a weapon having a faster fire rate is recoil and bloom could be a bit worse, but the Ranger Pistol has incredibly low recoil, and even at its max spread, it's still incredibly accurate, so there really isn't a downside to using this. And then you also get a higher base damage. You get 2 more damage than the legendary version, and a slightly faster reload speed. So it is pretty much just all benefit with using this mythic. The added fire rate is only when aimed in, so if you're hip firing it, obviously you're not going to benefit from that, but for a lot of fights that you're using the Ranger Pistol, you're going to be aiming, and so you're going to have a faster time to kill because you have more damage and a better fire rate. So I think this Mythic Poison Ivy Ranger Pistol is probably the best mythic of these options, and one of the better weapons probably in Fortnite history. This thing is absolutely crazy. The next mythic is going to be the Warforged AR, and this could be obtained by dueling Harley Quinn. She is outside Sinister Strip, and this, what the effect it has is it gets a faster fire rate over time, and this probably sounds very similar to the exotic Hollow Twister AR that we had in Chapter 6, because it also got a higher fire rate over time. So when you start shooting it, it starts at 1 fire rate, and then it gets faster over time until it reaches its peak fire rate. This also has 2 more damage than the legendary version and a slightly faster reload speed, and it starts out at the same fire rate as the other Warforged AR. So I compared this obviously to that exotic Hollow Twister from the past, and with that Hollow Twister, it had the same benefit, but it started at a lower fire rate than the base Hollow Twister, and then I believe also had less damage. So like it was, you know, arguable if it was better or worse than just the base version of the Hollow Twister. But this Warforged AR, like I said, it has more damage than the other versions, and then it starts out at the same fire rate. So it is just all benefit with this. There really isn't much of a downside. The downside it does have is going to be the natural Warforged AR. It does have a lot of bloom, and with how this season plays out, I feel like this can be a bit of a struggle because a lot of fights, especially in Zero Build, end up with you using shock rocks and jumping around in the air, and your opponent using shock rocks and jumping around in the air, and you might like get someone weak and then have to chase them and spray them while in the sky. And the jumping accuracy and just natural bloom that the Warforged AR has makes it not as good for those situations. The Ranger Pistol, I feel like you can just full spray all the time, and it's pretty much always going to be accurate enough to like get the job done. The Warforged AR is not that way. Bloom is very much a factor with this weapon, and that makes it more inconvenient in those fights where you're using mobility to like kind of fly around and still try to shoot somebody. But even just in like medium to long range fights, the bloom is going to be a big factor here. And that faster fire rate does make you kind of reach your max bloom a bit faster. But this gun does have an incredibly fast time to kill if you have an enemy in ideal range. If you're in kind of close to medium range and you're spraying this, you will eliminate people incredibly fast. But it is a lot more one-dimensional or a lot more like limited of an item than something like the Ranger Pistol. And because of that, I think in Zero Build especially, a lot of people are going to prefer to use something like the Ranger Pistol instead of this Mythic Warforged. It is very good though. You could definitely get kills with it. It will absolutely melt in some situations, but accuracy is going to be a problem for this weapon, just like how it is for all of the other Warforged AR variants. So I see this being something that's more of like a build mode weapon. Or maybe if you are going to snipe and run 3 guns, then running something like Shotgun, Warforged AR, and Sniper could work out pretty well, because then you have the Sniper for longer range fights and you don't have to worry as much about the bloom the Warforged AR has. But I still think it's going to be a problem in a lot of fights because of how much mobility there is this season and how chaotic a lot of the fights can play out. So it's good, but a lot more limited. And the same is going to be true of the rapid fire SMG mythic. This can be obtained by dueling Catwoman. She is underneath this bridge that is south of Wonkyland. And the main benefit of the exotic rapid fire SMG, or sorry, mythic rapid fire SMG, is just going to be that it has extended mag, which sounds incredibly underwhelming when you look at the Warforged that has faster fire rate over time, and then the Ranger pistol, which has faster fire rate when aimed in. Both of those get a massive like DPS improvement. And then the rapid fire SMG is just here with, you know, an extended mag. But the reason why extended mag is actually pretty helpful for this weapon is because magazine size is one of the main problems the rapid fire SMG has. It kills incredibly quick, but it only has 20 rounds and an incredible fire rate, so you empty your entire mag out incredibly fast. With this mythic version, you have 25 bullets instead of 20, and that's not completely like game changing, but it is nice to have. This also has the same damage as the legendary version, but it does have a slightly faster reload speed, so it has less of a benefit there. And that is partially why I think it's the most underwhelming of these mythics. Like, it doesn't get as much of like an interesting benefit. It doesn't even get better damage. And it's a weapon that really isn't that ideal for zero build anyways, because the range on this weapon is incredibly limited. It can kill incredibly fast in its ideal range, but it is very, very, very one-dimensional. The shotguns feel like they have more range than this rapid fire SMG this season. Obviously, shotguns get to a point where they no longer deal damage, but the rapid fire SMG, you basically need to be right up on somebody, and if you know, have good aim and hit your shots, you will melt people incredibly fast with this. But because it is so limited and so one-dimensional, I think it's probably not that great of a weapon for zero build. On top of the fact of everything I just talked about a bit ago with like how fights play out this season, a lot of mobility gets used, the shock rocks get used a lot, and those are things that naturally create distance between you and an enemy. And that is going to be something that makes the rapid fire SMG not shine as much. Also, when we look at the shotguns being used, I feel like the extending focus shotgun is probably the most popular shotgun for zero build right now. And that also doesn't need an SMG to combo with in the same way that like a pump did. So like if the pump was meta in zero build, I could maybe see this mythic rapid fire SMG being more sought after, but for how it currently is, I don't really think it's worth using in zero build, and it's probably solid in builds because you can spray through walls and like bleed damage through walls pretty consistently with the rapid fire SMG, and that extended mag is going to be, you know, helpful there. But I feel like for how zero build plays out, this mythic rapid fire SMG is not that great. And so the final mythic weapon that we have that was added is going to be the heavy impact sniper. The mythic version can be obtained by the hidden room in Cluster Coast. If you find the duck with sunglasses, bring it to the display case and go down there, you have a chance to get the mythic, but it will be guaranteed legendary at least in that little vault. And then also, if you open any of the keycard vaults on the map at like Sinister Strip or Frosted Flats, then you will get the mythic heavy impact sniper from those as well. The mythic impact sniper has 144 body damage, which is 6 higher than the legendary. More damage is nice, but this isn't like an absolute game changer. It also has enough headshot damage to one shot like all of the other heavy impact snipers do. The main reason why you would want to use this or not want to use this is just going to be the scope, because the base heavy impact sniper has a 4x scope, and then the mythic version has a 2x scope, which I'm told doesn't give sniper glint when somebody is aimed in with it. But either way, it's just a lower magnification scope, and this is helpful in medium range. It might be a bit worse at long range. It kind of depends on your preferences when it comes to sniping. I prefer the 2x scope. In Chapter 5, when the Reaper sniper was really good, most people were running that with the 2x scope because it was just snappier and more fluid and better in those medium range fights. Now that we can, you know, aim down sights in air, I would assume the 2x is going to be better for plays like that. But this is really just a matter of preference, I think. If you like the 2x, great. If you like the 4x, use the base version. Because each of the rarities one hits to the head and they all have basically the same body damage, I don't think the mythic version of the sniper really matters that much, and it just comes down to preference. But that is going to be it for this video about the mythic weapons Fortnite added in the Hot Bat Summer Update. I think the Ranger pistol is clearly the best. The Warforged AR is really good, but a little more inconvenient to use. And then the rapid fire SMG, not that great in zero build. The mythic sniper, mostly just preference. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you found this video to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.